here we have listed down various reasons of autism or ADHD. This can be oxidative stress. This can be dysbiosis. Dysbiosis means poor gut bacterial balance in the large intestine. SIBO means poor bacterial disbalance in the small intestine. These guys might be bloated, these guys might be constipated, these guys might have loose stool, diarrhea, or sometimes GERD, acidity. That is also another problem. Sometimes food intolerances or insensitivities. This is also one major part behind these problems. We feed them some foods and they react to it. Now, if the food has to be positive, if we're feeding certain foods where the child is reacting to it, we must avoid it. Sometimes certain foods, they don't react immediately. They have a delayed sensitivities. That is also, we have to check what foods are, they're tolerating, what foods they cannot tolerate, and we have to avoid those foods so that inflammation can come down. We have seen parasitic infection is another reason. If we check their stool, we might find a lot of parasites into their stools. That is also one of the reasons behind autism. Elevated histamine, that is again related to the inflammation in the gut and the dysbiosis. As a consequence, certain foods start reacting when we don't have the right bacterial balance into our gut. Limited glutathione production. Now, glutathione is a compound which helps to detox our system. Sometimes because of the nutritional deficiencies or because of the genetic makeup, we are not able to make enough of the glutathione. As a consequence, the toxic load starts building up. As a consequence, inflammation. As a consequence, brain is inflamed. As a consequence, there are symptoms. Increased toxin burden. Of course, genetics is one part of the problem. Vaccination sometimes can lead to the problem. Low vitamin D, very critical nowadays. Vitamin D is becoming more crucial. Now we see today most of the kids, especially in this era of lockdowns and all that, most of the child, they are inside. They hardly go under sun. We as humans, we are supposed to be under sun. We're supposed to take a lot of energy from the sun. But today, what is happening? We're always under the artificial lighting. We hardly go under sun, and this is same applies to the kids also. Now, when we don't get enough sunlight, we don't get nourishment from the sun, we don't get red light from the sun, our mitochondria is broken because of that. As a consequence, we don't even make enough vitamin D. Now, vitamin D is a compound which helps to modulate the immune system, which helps to lower the inflammation. Now, when we don't have enough vitamin D, our immune system is not working well. As a consequence, inflammation. As a consequence, we have inflammation in the brain and these symptoms. Sometimes if a mother is not nutritionally well, she don't have enough nutrition into her body during the pregnancy, that because a baby will get the nutrition from the mother. If mother doesn't have enough nutrition, baby will get a nutritionally deficit. As a consequence, the baby can have the problem. Sometimes now things are changing, but prenatal folic acid exposure. Now, folic acid, there are two compounds. One is called folate, one is called folic acid. Folic acid is the artificial B9, vitamin B9. Now, our system, our body cannot metabolize folic acid or cannot use it. In fact, it is more of a problem than it is doing any good to it. So if any mother is given folic acid in their pregnancy, that can also potentially cause the problem to the baby. Then, of course, if poor methylation. So methylation is a very important process in detoxification, in activation, deactivation of the genes. If methylation is not happening, either because of lack of nutrients or lack of certain, like folic acid is not there or methylfolate is not there, that also can impair the system, and as a consequence, our children are suffering. Epigenetics. Now, there are certain environmental triggers. The kind of food, the kind of bacteria we have into our gut, kind of light exposure we have, kind of toxins we have. Now, all this different triggers, they influence our genetic makeup. They either help us move into healthy direction or cause an unhealthy body. So if epigenetics, the choices of lifestyle, the food are not healthy for us, they can influence the genetic makeup for our body. and the consequence is poor health. Same is happening with the kids. So the kids are not getting enough sunlight, they're not getting enough nutritionally rich food, they're also always exposed to the artificial light, all these TVs or laptops, or electromagnetic field, which is very poor. Then of course, sometimes if mothers are exposed to a lot of radiation during their pregnancy, that is also another problem which can put these children at risk of the problem. Good news is most of the things we can fix. We can take care of them. We can improve their status. Except for changing the genetics, most of the things we can take care, even in the latest stage of the problem, so that a child inflammation, nutrition, toxicity can be improved. As a consequence, inflammation can improve. As a consequence, the symptoms which a child is throwing will start improving.